Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today we're knocking some projects out in the shop. We've got the Jeep back in the shop. So this thing has been all over the road, trying to figure out what it is. The tire company hadn't been able to figure it out. They get under and they look and everything's tight. And then I've been driving it, so been trying to pay attention to when it hits an obstacle or something in the road, and then it feels like it's just going to shoot off the road, but then it recovers. And I started thinking, years back, this thing was acting weird, and I took the steering stabilizer off, and it would move. It would just like go, so it was real jerky. It was catching and everything. It wasn't smooth like it should be. So I put a new one of those on. I go, I wonder if it went out again. So I took it off and it comes out just fine. But then when you go to push it in, you push it in and it'll go, and then it has the resistance. So it has a little soft spot in it. So it's starting to go out. So I ordered right here in this box. Nope, not in that box. I already took it out. Oh, there it is. Here, I'll turn this phone around. There we go. So I ordered a Bilstein. Since I have all Bilstein shocks on this thing, I ordered, there it is, a new Bilstein steering stabilizer. The one that's on there now is a KYB from Les Schwab, and I'd say it's maybe 5 years old. It might have 50,000 miles on it. But I've got all Bilstein shocks. I've always been happy with Bilstein. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this one on there. And hopefully that fixes that problem. And if you're not familiar with the vehicles, let's see, can you see it right in there? That's it right there. Factory mount there. And then it's got the little clamp on the tie rod right there. That's all factory. So we'll switch that thing out of there. And then the other thing we got to do is next weekend is a poker run up in Mount Baber. So it's time every year on this toy hauler right here. We'll go ahead and switch this. I was blocking that out a little bit. It's pretty dark in there. Anyway, you can see I got my truck camper and the toy hauler in here. So let's see if you can see if I go back here. I'm not sure if you can. So there's an area on this toy hauler that's been an issue almost the entire time I've owned it. And it's the transition. That's pretty hard to see. Let's see, can I back out a little farther? Oh, wrong way. Yeah, anyway, right in here where you have the steel frame for the back door, and then you have the wood framing and aluminum siding that comes up and meet, right where these two join, that area right there, that seam, I have to keep a close eye on. It goes almost all the way up. Let's see if I can see it. Not the best picture, but anyway, it goes almost all the way up there, and you gotta keep a close eye on that, because that will from the vibration going down the road, the walls and that thing are supposedly tied together. But there was one time that I got in there and I worked on fixing that. They weren't tied together very good. There was only like 2 or 3 screws holding it together, and just wasn't enough. So I got in there and I added an angle and did some stuff, and it's helped some, but it's just a design area that's kind of an issue. So anyway, we're going to put some caulking on that area there. when it does get in there, you'll look back right in the back corner of the floor by the door. It'll start to get a little bit wet there. Hasn't affected the flooring. You just see a little bit right there. So that's a spot I gotta caulk all the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that caulked today, and get this steering stabilizer on the Jeep today. There's stuff that I need to do to the General. I keep covering the camera with my finger there. It's a good job, huh? Now you got a real close up. Woo! So there's stuff I need to do to the General, but I don't think there's anything I'm gonna do to it. Probably just go as is. It would be nice if I had the cold start issue taken care of, but I just have not wanted to tear into an engine. And now every once in a while I've got a code popping up that says that speedometer thing's not working. So I don't know what that is. Got to figure that out. And I need to change the switch for the brake, because sometimes you got to push on that brake pedal really hard to activate the safety switch so you can start it. So yeah, there's some projects to do on that, but you know, it still works. We'll take that up there for the poker run. We'll throw that on top of the truck on the rack I built, and we'll hook that toy hauler up and head up there next weekend. So I need to get after it. I'll go ahead and get under this thing and swap it out, and I can show you a quick view of what it looks like down there, just in case you're not familiar with steering stabilizers and what their purpose is. So their purpose is to stabilize the steering, especially when you get bigger tires. Bigger and bigger your tires are, the more chances are you're going to need them, because they can grab the ruts more, they grab obstacles. It's just more weight out there. It just helps to dampen it and keep everything smooth. These come with a steering stabilizer. Like my truck comes with a steering stabilizer, but some vehicles don't. I'd say, yeah, I was about to say most four-wheel drives, but like my Suzuki XL7, it's four-wheel drive. It don't have it, but it's more of a SUV, more of a car type four-wheel drive. Anyway, so I'm gonna get after it. And then, of course, I almost forgot. Then there was the distraction of the Coast Guard coming in and doing some practices. So I'll throw that in here also. All right, here we go. Alright, well, I don't know how many of you know that, but I live right on a small state airport. So the Coast Guard will come in here sometimes. A lot of times they do it at night. They'll be coming in down there and they have their spotlight on. And when you're approaching the runway right over here, they're coming right towards my house almost. Like there's one of the guys here at the airport that likes to slip his plane, is what they call it. Well, when we come in, he actually angles the plane a little bit, and it allows him to drop altitude real fast and speed, I think. I don't know, I'm not a pilot, but just been around it a bunch. Anyway, when he does that, it looks like he's pointed directly at my house. So I had that one time. I had some people over, and I go, well, it's this guy. He's going to come right at the house. And he saw me point at him. And he did a touch and go landing. See there, the Coast Guard goes up there. They'll probably circle around and see if I can. There they are. They'll probably circle around and do it again. Anyways, a lot of times they'll come in at night. Oh, I was talking about the one pilot I know. Anyway, he saw me pointing. He must have, because he did a touch and go and came around and then slipped it into the house. Because one time I went out flying with him, I was telling him how when he does that, it points right at my house. It's a trip. So that was pretty cool for people who'd never seen it. So yeah, looks like they're going to come around and do it again. But yeah, they've come in here at 10 o'clock at night, and they'll do a touch and go and everything. Pisses all the dogs off and everything. But I kind of enjoy it. I'm going to pull over closer to the runway, see what they're doing. Hop in the old General. It just happens to be running. Run over to closer to the runway. And there they are, right off the back of my property. That little ditch right in front of that, about where my property ends. And then you got the boat ramp across the street there. That's why you see that truck over there. Anyway, yeah, they'll come down here. And sometimes they'll just cruise the whole runway down here. All the way down there. And it can be pretty cool sometimes. To see what they do, if they're doing anything special. Okay, now do something exciting. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, we got it on film if you screw up. Damn, the elk been busy here. Tearing up my path, going across my bridge, trapping in my yard. Damn elk, making a mess. Alright, so there's a shot of the stabilizer. Just got this one stud here. And then there's a bolt down there. Pop that off and switch it out. In theory, it'll be real easy, but that depends on how easy that bolt down there comes off. This one I know will come off easy because I did that to test it. So we'll get that thing loose and get after it. Alright, well here's a little trick you may or may not know. If you got a bolt that you can't quite get free, but you're close to the ground, just get that wrench on there and then put your floor jack on it. Instead of sitting down there and struggling to pop that thing loose, you can just try putting your floor jack on it and crank it that way. So I see it's turning, but it's got a captured nut on the back, so the nut's got to spin all the way around until it hits something again. And if you don't know what a captured nut is, it just has a little tab that is welded to the nut or pressed around the nut or something like that. There's different methods. So if I can get this thing off of here and reset it. That's too low. There we go. Okay, got a little bit of angle on that thing. Raise that jack up. And then you don't have to get under there and strain. So, anyway, just thought I'd show that little tip. And of course, I was just looking at what I was jacking instead of looking through the camera. So I might have missed part of that. Anyway, I'll get in there and get that free the rest of the way. Here we go. Well, here's a little surprise. I got the thing off. That might be part of the issue too. So that would allow the bolt to move back and forth in there a little bit. And the bushing's blown out right there. But what's weird is this side's still around. So it's on a stud. So it's real weird that it would do that. And then I just tested this. I stood it up. I went and pushed on it, and it was even worse than it was the other day. I pushed on it, and it went, and then it had resistance. And I pulled it out and tried to do it again. Then it had resistance both ways. So that makes even more sense with what's been happening, because you'd be driving down the road and everything feels fine, and then you hit a bump or something and it shoots you off the road, and then it felt fine again. So that is even more evidence that this is the problem, and that doesn't help. So that is on a stud under here, so that's really weird. This is a bracket, and that's not loose. There's nothing that can move there. Did I even have the camera on it? That's a stud right there. So very interesting. All right, we'll go ahead and get this thing on here. You see it says right on here, steering dampener. So throw that thing on there and then everything will match. That'll be cool. Here we go. All right, there we go. It's installed. That wasn't too painful, other than that bolt down there not wanting to come loose. That's one of them pretty simple jobs. So we'll just have to drive it for a while and see how much of a difference that makes. So it's kind of behind there. You got that nice looking stabilizer, and you can barely see it. Kind of a shame. It's pretty, but it's back there protected a little bit, so it won't get damaged as easily. All right, well, hopefully the rest of my projects today go that simple. So we'll get to those. I'll go do some caulking. Here we go. All right, so what I've done is I take some rubbing alcohol in the rag, and I wipe down the surface all the way up this thing, and all the way up to the top. And I only need to do a part of that. This part here is still okay. I'm just going to go over it And when you look at it really close, I'm like, where's the gap at? But it changes with the temperature. And I don't know if you can see it, but right in there, let's see, I'll get really close. Maybe it'll show up. I don't know if you can actually see, but there's just a little tiny crack in there. And right now, everything is closed tight and sealed. But different temperatures, this thing moves. You know, this moves different from this. And that opens and closes and opens and closes. And I've been trying to find something that I can put in there for years that would work correctly, seal it, and still open and close and open and close. And I thought I've had some things, and they still didn't hold up for the test of time. It's like there's a product we use in the shipyard, and that stuff sticks to everything. It still failed. It lasts 2 years. So the nice thing about the silicone is it's easy to put in and easy to clean out. But if I had something that would last longer, that would be even better. But anyway, so this whole side is silicone. The other side is not, and it looks tighter. And I don't have enough room to work over there either. It's too close to the wall. So I got this all caulked, and I do not have any white silicone. So in the morning, I'll go grab some of that. And then I just run a quick bead down this. And see, that's why I have it taped. This is a trick I learned from a glazer, which if you don't know what a glazer is, that's a person who puts in windows. They tape it off, and then you take that and you caulk it, and then you can wet your finger, and you just go whoosh, nice clean line. And then you peel the tape, you got a perfect line going all the way down. So I'll do that in the morning, and she'll be ready to go. So that is currently the only spot that I know that I need to hit on this. Got the, you know what's worse than owning an RV is owning two, because then you have twice as many chores to do. It's the same problem with, you know what's worse than owning a Jeep is owning two, since I've got the CJ and the JK. So anyway, we'll throw some caulking on that in the morning, and then we'll pull this thing out midweek, load up everything, be ready to go, be up there for the poker run at the Mount Baber Club for next weekend. All right, see you on the next one.